Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well and good today. So, before we're going to discuss our new topic or lesson for this week, let us review first our previous lesson about the or introduction to 21st century literature from the region where the school based in relation to the literature of other regions in various genres and form in consideration of various dimensions of Philippine literary history from the pre-colonial to contemporary, and then canonical authors and words of Philippine national artists in literature, and then the name of the authors and their works and background of literature from the region where the high school is located. So last week, we discussed what literature is, and then as what we have discussed, literature is a written work such as poems, plays, and novels that are considered to be very good to have lasting importance, and it is alive. It represents human experiences. So the poem that I have presented to you, which is entitled If I Thought, is one of the example of literature because it talks about the life of a person. So last week, we discussed also the three periods, which are the pre-Spanish period, the propaganda period, and revolutionary period. So, yun. Now, let us proceed to our new topic for this week, the three literary periods. So now, the first period is the pre-colonial period BC 1564. This existed before the Spanish occupation in 15,000. It is oral in nature and is full of lessons and ideas about life, its blessings and consequences. It contains ideas from birth to the grave. And then, the oral characteristic to pre-colonial literatures gives the possibility for many alteration. And then, in the Philippines context, no matter how it may be perceived as altered, pre-colonial literature is still revered to by many Filipinos. And then, the resources are usually the local native town. So now, let's proceed to the form of pre-colonial period. Number 1, oral literature. And then, riddles or mga tula. These are statements that contain superficial words, but they function figuratively as metaphors and are in form of questions. These are questions that demand deeper answers, deals with everyday life, and then it is usually has mundane in as answers, and then this is used in the past as form of game in small or large gatherings. So, last week, we already discussed about riddles or mga tula. So, di ba, as what I have said, na ang tula ay isa sa mga nagbibigay aliw sa atin, especially kapag wala tayong ginagawa. Bisaya, baboy sa langsang, ang tunok puro langsang. In English, a wild pig of the forest is covered with spikes. So, ang sagot or answer is nangka. In English, jackfruit. And then B, proverbs or mga salawikain. These are statements that are considered as wise. These are usually given by parents or elders of the community. There are beliefs that experience is the best teacher. Example of proverbs or salawikain. Mandaya on virginity yang ataog aw madugdog di na mamauli. So in English, an egg once broken will never be the same. So that's the example of proverbs or salawikain. And then, number 2, folk songs. These are folk lyrics that are usually chanted. These are usually contain ideas and aspirations, hopes, everyday life, and expression of love for loved ones. It is bounded by the learning or good morals. It is easy to understand because it is straightforward and not figurative in nature. Then, under of folk songs is Lala Bells. So Lala Bells, this is locally known and as heli. These are sung to put to sleep babies. The content varies, but usually parents sing this with this idea on how hard life is and how they hope that their child will not experience the hardship of life. And then for B, drinking songs. These are locally known as a tagay and are sung during drinking season. Then, love songs. Love songs, to many Filipinos, these are known as the harana. So, ito na yon yung kadalasan, yun yung mga nangyayari noon, uso pa yung harana, and it can be also be called courtship songs and are used by young to men capture the heart of the girls that they love. So, uso pa ba ito ngayon? Kung tatanungin natin yung sarili natin, gusto mo pa ba ang ganitong pamamaraan ng panliligaw, yung idadaan nila sa harana or ayaw mo, 'di ba? And then, religious song. Religious song are songs or chants that are usually given during exorcism and thanksgiving during good harvest. Song of that are lamentations that contain the rule of good deeds that did has usually done to immortalize his or her good image. Then folk tales number 3, mga kwentong bayan. These are stories of nature Filipinos. These deal with the power of nature personified, their submissions to a deity, usually Bathala, and how this deity is responsible for the blessings and calamities. This also tackle about irresponsible lust, stupidity, deception of fability that eventually leads to the instilling of good morals. And the usually theme of folk tales are ceremonies need to appear the deities, pre and post apocalypse, life and death, gods and goddess, heroes and heroines, and then supernatural beings and animals. So those are the theme of folk tales or mga kwentong bayan. Forms number 1, myths and legends. So let's discuss first myth. Myth, this tackle the natural to a strange occurrence of the earth and how things were created with an aim to give an explanation to things. And then for the legend, legends, true legends are the nature's understood mysteries around them. These stories usually come with a moral lesson that give credit to supernatural powers, supernatural occurrence, and the other out of their world native imagination. And then another one, fables. When we say fables, are short or brief stories rather that cater the children of the native Filipinos and are usually bounded by good manner and right conduct. These stories use animals as characteristic that represents a particular value or characteristic. And then epic, the last one, are very lengthy narrative that are based on oral traditions, and this contain encounter the fighters or stereotype princes or heroes that save a damsel in distress. So, That's the form or those are the forms of folktales or mga kwentong bayan. So, any questions? Clarifications? Additions? So, if you don't have any questions regarding with our lessons, just open your learning path for your activity at www.gaitf.com and then just call me or message me at 0926 2974 685. So that's all. Thank you and God bless.